Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is finally Friday, TGIF, March 22nd, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest today is a writer, director, and producer from the Chicago area, and I'm super excited to welcome him here in the Dollhouse. So, without further ado, Fashion Dolls, let's do the pleasure of welcoming Billy Ray Valentine to the Dollhouse, and I'm going to share this live with him. We finally got through this week. All of my interviews have been completed. It has just been an amazing, amazing week. So many amazing guests, and we have more amazing guests even coming on in April as well too. So I'm excited about that. So make sure that you guys have catched up on all of the interviews from this past week. All of the look of the weeks are up too. So make sure you guys definitely go and check those out. I'm super excited for our very special guest, and I hope you guys are too. He is a writer, director, and producer from the Chicago area. And without further ado, let's welcome our very incredible, handsome, talented, very special guest, Billy Ray Valentine. Yep.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Hello. Welcome to the
How are
doghouse.
you? How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you? I guess we're color coordinating
I
today. I didn't
guess
get
we
the
are.
memo.
Yeah, I guess we are. That was a good accident.
Yes. So before we get into our interview and your story, how has 2024 been for you so far?
So far, it's been a blessing. You know, 2024 has. I have grasped the bull by the horn, and I just said, let's run with it. And it's been good to me so far.
Yes, great things, great prosperity in the year 24 and more. I've seen some things you've been working on, which we'll get into. But let's start on your journey. Now, you were
Okay,
born in Chicago, Illinois, correct?
correct.
Now, a lot of talent has come from Chicago. I mean, you got Sherry Shepherd, you got Chance the Rapper, Kanye West, Jennifer Hudson, the list goes on and on. You grew
Yes.
up in the south side of Chicago, the city, and then you took that move. At what age did you say, okay, I want to get into writing and directing and producing?
And all honesty, it was age 8.
Wow.
Uh, I was taken to the theater. My older brother took me to the theater. It was the Roosevelt Theater downtown Chicago. It's not there anymore. But he took me to see the film Black Caesar.
Mm,
And
great
I
movie.
was so mesmerized with seeing someone like us, our people, portrayed as a hero. The only thing I didn't understand at the time was the black exploitation of it. They made our heroes be pimps, pushers, and drug dealers. And it was always this theme in the film of taking down the man. So when I saw that bigger than life character Fred Williamson played, that was when I knew at that moment, this is something I want to
Now, you later grew up on the south side of Chicago in the city, and then in the late 70s, you moved to Auburn, Gresham neighborhood. So, what was it like making that shift and moving from the south side of Chicago to
do.
the
Well, Auburn Gresham is still on the south side, but I had came from the Robert Taylor homes, and we consider that low income housing, the projects. And when my mom moved us to the Auburn Gresham neighborhood, it for me it was like a step up. So and I went to a different school, and I started seeing things completely different than what they were where I was growing up. So for me, that was a step up.
yes. And then fast forward 1986, you
Mhm.
lived in Roseland, in the Roseland community. So, what was it
Yes.
like for you making that shift in your journey and discovery?
The Roseland community was, I think when we moved there, I was like 18, 19. And that was the first time my mom had uh, bought property. So we moved into a home, and that was, to me, that was a step up. We didn't have next door neighbors, upstairs neighbors, downstairs neighbors. We had a home, and that home front, it gave me, uh, I believe that was the beginning of my journey as far as grasping hold of my career.
Now, in 1990, it's like we're going through a timeline here. You
Hmm.
went to Hollywood and you appeared on one of my favorite shows, A
Hmm.
Different World, and the
Yes.
cast just reunited. So, what was it like seeing the cast of this iconic Black sitcom based on historically Black college and university? All the cast get together.
Wow, that was, for me, in 1990 when I went. When we're watching television, television is so much smoke and mirrors. I thought they were literally on a college campus.
Yeah,
So when I got to Studio City and I seen what this was, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then to meet the cast like Kadeem Hardison, Jasmine Guy, uh, 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 Dawn, all of those people, it was mesmerizing. It was like I was living out a fantasy. And then in between takes, we would all sit around and we would talk. These people were like, they were people,
yeah,
and it was like humbling. It really was humbling. And to be able to experience that so early in my career, it was like a dream come true. I learned a lot from each of those people. And then I got to see the behind the scenes of filmmaking. And
yeah,
it even sparked the fuel even more from when I was that kid looking at the movies in the theaters and actually being there. Because not only did I communicate with the cast of A Different World, but there were in Studio City, they were shooting so many different sitcoms and
yeah,
television shows. And on Friday nights, those cast people would come to the set of A Different World to watch that be taped. And I was surrounded by people like Mike Tyson, Robert Townsend, the people from Dallas and Knox Landing. It was like amazing. And back home, these were the people that I used to watch every week on television. So yes, it was very mesmerizing.
going through the time capsule again.
Okay,
2009, you started your company,
correct,
Single Film and Music Entertainment, and I've
correct.
seen some of your work. I'm very impressed. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Now, 2019, you started producing full-length movies,
Right.
and some of your films include Magic, Little Caesar, and Roseland, and The Walk of Rufus, A Masquerade Trap. We could go on and on.
Yeah,
So many.
yeah.
So, for you, what was it like starting your own company?
Um, that was a breakthrough for me. It was like cutting the yellow tape, um, or cutting the ribbon on a brand new business. And for me, at that moment, it was all me then. Throughout my career, I have done uh, countless work with several people, but it never was for me. So starting my own company and running this business, and trust me, it was rough. But the reward of it all is it was about me then. You know, from 1986 till now, I have worked with Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, PM Dawn, MC Light, several artists, local talent, the Cha Cha Slide, doing those things. All of that work was done, and I take pride in it, and I'm proud of it. But it wasn't for me. I was always working for someone else. When I started Singles Film and Music, that was about me. So now I'm working for myself, and I have to make this work because it's the livelihood. So it's almost as if that final step when you're walking out live on stage, there's no turning back. Once
Yeah,
you hit that top step, you can't run no more. You have to face the audience and give them a show. And in order for you to succeed in it, you have to be great at what you're producing. So the challenge for me was coming up with good product, good material, and me being my own writer, my own director. I edit, I shoot, I direct, I write, I scout locations, I costume design all my films. So with that, I have nobody to blame if it falls. So it's all on my shoulders. And I'm actually proud of where we are today with it. You know, we're not where I want to be, but I feel great at where I am.
Because you've done the work and your films are streaming across the world. Millions of people are watching your projects.
Yes,
Now, for you, was it scary taking that leap of faith from working on a different world to working with other artists, and now you're jumping out on own? For you, was it scary taking that leap of faith? I couldn't get it out, and
it
starting your own company?
well, it was more so I was excited. I wanted to do this for years, and what the great thing about it was I would go to the movies. I was a movie buff. And by the time I was old enough to go on my own, that's where you would find me in somebody's movie theater. So it was exciting to be able to go to a movie theater and see your work. And you know, you put the blood, the sweat, the tears, and the stress all into it, and then it to be successful. I have 6 films out right now with a stream count of 12.5 billion. Yeah, so it's more so exciting, and I never was afraid. The only thing I was afraid of was not succeeding. So there was no choice. Uh, uh, Failing was not an option.
So, as you sit back and you reflect on your work, you said 12.5 billion streams. As you
Correct.
sit back and you reflect on your legacy and your work, what runs through your mind as you take in those numbers?
Proudness, proudness. You know, when I see my children and when we're talking and we're face to face, I can see the proudness in my children. You know, I lost my mom in 21, and
Sorry.
the last product I did was before she passed was the Walk of Rufus, and she watched that on Christmas Day, and she said, "You're on your way. You're well off and on your way. I'm proud of you." So that right there was like the burst of fuel I needed to push even harder. So I'm real proud when I look back on my work.
And she's looking down on you. I said this not too long ago on my platform. I said that because I lost my sister in 2018, and that was the hardest pain ever for me to swallow.
Tell me about
And losing a sibling, losing a parent, let alone losing someone who is dear to your heart is a different kind of pain. Nobody can
it. Yes,
understand. So
yes.
I said that we have guardian angels watching over us. Do you believe that she's watching over you? And if she was here, what do you think she would say, seeing your success? Because you have 6 films out right now.
I think if she was here now, I'd be laying in her lap. You know,
Mm.
I I just you know how I just want that one more hug, just that one more, and you can't get it. But sometimes she comes to me in my dreams, you know, and I never could understand what's going on in the dream, but she comes and she's always smiling. So I know she's proud. I know she's proud.
And do you feel little signs of her? Like she comes to you in your dreams. And my mom was telling me something last week about dreams as well, too. She said, dreams are a way for God to have a conversation with you or to get a message to you. That's what
Mm,
she told me. Said I had a dream about your sister. Do you ever think about your sister? And I said all the time. And I talk about it on the show and I talk about it just with her in general. And
mm,
yeah, it comes back to me. Certain things that I would do remind my mom of my sister. and certain things that my brother would do remind my mom of my sister also too. So it's bittersweet, even when it
Mhm.
comes to celebrating her birthday. But I definitely believe that she's here. And 30 is the lucky number for me. I'm 30 years old. So with
All
me
right.
being 30, it's like a new sense of awareness. And I looked up what the number 30 means, and it means that you are divinely protected. At any age, you are divinely protected. If you believe in God, if you believe in faith, if you believe in anything, whatever you believe in, you are divinely protected. And I know I'm divinely protected by her. And my cousin, he's also rest in grace up there as well too. So I know that they're watching down on me. It's just like certain things that happened to me, like getting the job, writing for the magazine, for the fashion column, all these things started coming my way. It's just like, okay, this is very odd. Are you
Yeah.
trying to tell me something? It's a sign from them. It's definitely
Well,
them because what God puts out there for you, no one can take away.
you're definitely correct. My sister is my tunnel to my mom. My sister does
Mm.
certain things like her cooking. You know, she cooks
And you
like
can't,
my mom. And then when my mom passed, it's almost as if my sister stepped in her shoes. Not to be my mother, but my sister took a role of leadership in protecting me. And I'm the oldest, but she feels as if I have to look out for my brother. So she's the tunnel to my mom. There are certain things that my daughter does reminds me so much of my mom. And I believe sometimes I do believe in divine order. Um, Sometimes I'll think about a person, and then a day later they'll contact me. And people used to say, just talk to her, just have a conversation with your mom. And I would, and I wouldn't get an answer, but the next day or 2 days later, the answer comes. So
mm,
I truly believe that she's right here standing next to me as we speak, and she moves obstacles out of my way. My first three films I did with no money. I didn't have no money, and I was scraping. When I was making the film Magic, I had a breakdown because it seems like all four walls were closing in on me. And my mother used to tell me, in business, the first 5 years are going to be the hardest. They're going to be
yeah.
the hardest. So um, I've been there. I've struggled. I did that struggle, and now it's as if the sun is coming out. And it's a nice 75-degree day in the spring. That's the feeling I have now. So yeah, I believe my mom is carrying me, moving obstacles, and paving the way for me.
Yes, and there's many more blessings coming your way. All due to
Yes,
her. Many more blessings and obstacles that are being moved, all due to her. So,
correct.
do you ever find yourself feeling afraid at times? Because I know I do. And it's just like, I know she's here watching me. My cousin and my sister, both of them are here watching over me. My grandmother as well, too. I've lost people throughout my life. And I feel like even when I'm scared, my mom always told me, come and talk to somebody about it, talk to God about it, and talk to
Mm,
her about it. She's like, I'm your mom. That's why I'm here. So come and
mm.
talk to me. You have guardian angels watching over you. That's exactly the way that she put it. So do you ever find yourself feeling afraid at times?
Of course, of course. Taking on some projects, and I'll be partially through the project and feel as if I took taking a bite that was too big. And yeah, I get nervous, I get afraid, and with my family living in different parts of the country, it's really just me. So yeah, I'll look up, I'll talk to God, I'll talk to my mom, and just tell them, just guide me through it. I don't look for a rescue, just guide me, and I leave it up to God. You know.
So let's go back for a minute here. You've mentioned family because you are a dad, you're a family man. How do you find that balance? Because you write, you direct, and you produce. So how do you find the balance with your family being in different states? How do you find the balance with spending
Well,
time for yourself?
I put it all on them. I use those are my guinea pigs. Like um, when I'm writing, I'll include the family. That way, it's a balance. Sometimes, like I tell my children, at some point, you're gonna have to learn what I do because if I go today, then my legacy stops.
Right.
When I started Singles Film and Music, I didn't start it for a temporary company. I wanted, I want at some point in life for it to be the Singles Film and Music 100th anniversary. You know, um, uh, so I kind of envelop the family in the work as well, and that's how it's easy to write, produce, because this is a 24-hour job.
Yeah.
So I include them in writing, editing, and things like that. Um, I have a workstation at home. I have an office, and hey, sometimes it gets overwhelming, so I pass it on to the wife or the children and say, "Look, I need you to do this for me," and that that's what keeps the balance because I'm never away from the family. I'm always there. Apologize for that. But when I'm there, when I'm working, I try my best to include the family.
So that they get it and they understand it as well too. And I'm glad that you said legacy because when as you move on, as you know, whenever it's time for God to call us home or whatever, you have your children, you have your family there to pick up the legacy. That's what it's about. And I was going to ask you about it, but you covered it
Mm-hmm.
right then and there. So my next question for you is, what's next in the future? You have 6 projects that are out right now, 6 films. What
Mm-hmm.
is next for single film?
Um, well, April 9th is the release of Theotis, which is part 2 to the Walk of Rufus.
Okay.
Right. And then on the 27th, which is next Wednesday, we have a Chicago theatrical premiere of that film and then Doc Mays.
Are you excited? Are you nervous?
Very
What's running through your
excited.
mind
A
as
little bit
you?
nervous. A little bit nervous because every time I drop a project, I bite my nails like I wonder if the audience is going to like it. And so far with the stream count, we've been good. But it doesn't matter how well the last one was, it's what the next one is going to do. And at this point, we're doing the red carpet premiere of 2 films, and I'm nervous. This is where I'm nervous. At the end of the project, it's all put together. I like it, but I don't make the films for me. I make them for the audience. So I have to
Right.
hope they like it.
So, what has been the response from some of your projects, the Walk of Rufus, and some that you've done in the past as well? So, what has been the response from family just overall? Have they seen the project?
Um, I just was awarded the Icon Award for for all that I've done in the culture, and I was nominated Director of the Year this year. I was nominated Director of the Year for last year's work, and the response is really receptacle. Everyone is, they take it in pretty well. Um, I'm a person. I'm a people person. So when I walk in a room, it's always gladness, happy to see me. And I thank God for that. I thank God that my personality is a personality of joy, but the reception from the audiences and the people around me, it's beautiful. It's very beautiful.
And not only that, but you are creating something for the culture,
Mm-hmm.
unapologetically Black. Because we're now, and this is going to be my next question to you. What do you think about the the rise of Black filmmakers in the Chicago area and in the Baltimore area, because there's so many that are coming out directing, producing, and writing their own projects. And of course, we know about the Spike Lees, and as you mentioned, the Jasmine Guys, she directs and produces, if I'm not mistaken, and so many others. We're starting to see up and coming independent Black filmmakers and writers and producers come up and produce their own content. So, what do you think about the rise for Black filmmakers in the Chicago area?
I I'm so proud. Um, there are so many here, and everyone is on the rise. I was told that you are a big brother in this. You're the big brother. You know, we follow your path, and to see uh, my brothers and sisters creating and producing, and writing, and coming up with these stories and this entertainment for audiences is beautiful. We didn't have many back in the day, but there are so many now. You know, so we've created our own Hollywood to the point we don't need Hollywood. You know, it's us, and it's all coming together pretty well.
And it's more representation. We're seeing people who, as you said when you was talking about Fred Williamson in the beginning of the interview, it's about seeing people who look like us, representation. And I did a post, and people were agreeing with it. I posted in my stories because not too long ago we just had the Oscars, and as we've seen, there's three Black Oscar winners. Divine Joy Rudolph is the 10th Black woman to win an Academy Award, and I'm just
Hmm.
like, we're not getting. We submit our stuff to these awards and these outlets, but they barely give us recognition. And I called them out and I said, you know what? Why not go to places where we are more celebrated, like the NAACP Image Awards, to see all of that melanin, all of that people who look like us be celebrated in a space where in a space where we are welcome versus the Oscars where they barely give us any recognition and credit. And that's what I think that is very, very important. So representation is key. And that's why I had to ask, because there's a lot of, uh-oh, I don't know what happened with Billy. Did it kick you out, Billy? Are you still here? Okay, let me add him back. Let me add him back. There we are.
There we are. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. It just went out.
No, you good. I
Okay.
was saying that in Chicago, it's amazing because there's so many filmmakers and directors and producers that are
Hmm.
out there producing their projects and putting it out there. And they're starting to get recognition. People who look like us, it is very, very important. Representation
Yes,
is
yes. Well, when I started, there were directors and things, and they were doing their things, and then we only had the YouTube outlet for our films,
yeah.
and then companies like Tubi came along, you know, and they gave us an outlet to put our films out. When I finished my first film, and after the theatrical premiere and everything, it got very, very quiet, which is depressing because you want to know, okay, so what's next? I've submitted this film to several different companies, and I'll never forget. It was September 11, 2019. Doug Schwab from Maverick Films
Mm.
contacted me, and he said, "Billy, I want to put your movie out." And it was almost like an overwhelming of euphoria, came over me, and because I didn't think it was good enough. So someone gave me a chance. And once that happened, I vowed that anybody that knocks on my door, I will give them a shot. And what I give them, it's how they take that and run with it. When I did A Different World, I got on A Different World because I used to rap for Reverend Jesse Jackson. And he said, "This is my pay to you." Bill Cosby asked me to come to the Cosby Show, and I turned that down. And I looked at him like, "Why would you turn down the Cosby Show?" He said, "Because I needed to put it up. I needed to be on a platform that could reach the youth. So I'm gonna go on a different world, and I'm gonna take you with me. You know. And he said, now you take this and you make it work for you. So with blessings like that, I feel you have to pay it forward. So when people knock on the, there's people in my films that has never ever acted a day before in their life. And they was like, I don't know if I can do it. And I would tell them, don't worry about it, I'll get it out you. And then they spawn their careers from that. I look at it as if you could change someone's life, because someone changed my life. You know, all I had was a dream. And in my mind's eye, I felt I'll never get to do that. But look at God, because he put me in Jesse's life. Jesse steered me toward my dream that I've always had, got me to Hollywood, gave me a clear understanding of how this business goes. And here I am now, giving people a shot, giving people an opportunity to be what they never thought they could be. You know, so it's almost, you have to pay it forward. It's a must. You know, because someone gave it to you.
And now it's like a full, do you feel it's like now a full circle 360 moment for you?
Yes, yes, yes. It's almost as if I'm walking up to myself to tap me on the shoulder, you know, and when I turn around, it's me, you know, and that's the beauty of it. I can say 20 years ago, I was doing music, and I was a leader in that. And today I'm doing exactly what I dreamed of doing. If you'd asked me 20 years ago, are you going to be making movies in the future? I would have told you no.
Mm. And now you've opened your horizons and your company is flourishing. Millions of people worldwide are watching your project,
Yes.
including myself, which I love. And it's great to see people out here that look like myself doing something independently, giving us more and more representation. We know about the big names that are in the business, like you said, Kadeem Hardison, Jasmine Guy, and Don Lewis, so many others. But it's amazing to see people from other cities, Chicago. I'm in South Carolina, and
Mm.
so many others come out here and create and put out their own projects as well. So
Yes.
it's amazing.
It's beautiful. I think when I first met Jasmine God, she was so much bigger than life. And then we held a conversation, and I didn't feel as if she came down. I feel as if she pulled me up to that large life she was living. And so when I came home from California, uh, 2 years later, I went back to California and I started working. It was almost as if I was touched, and then all the blessings came. I picked up an opportunity with Ice Cube. I picked up an opportunity with uh, uh, other studios in LA. I had a small bit role in Lean On Me, the movie, you know, and it was almost as if these things were just being poured on me, you know. So I started feeling like I was larger than life, not in a negative way, but in a positive way. I was the gateway to do what Jasmine did for me for someone else.
Yeah. And you said Jesse Jackson. What is the best piece of advice that Jasmine and Jesse Jackson has given you?
Uh, Now, the best piece of advice Jesse gave me was to keep pushing, keep hope alive, believe in yourself. Jasmine gave the best advice she gave me was, it's out there. It's out there for you. And if that's what you want, you have to go toward that. So when I came home, my drive wasn't just music anymore. It was the entertainment industry. That's the direction I'm gonna go in. Uh, I've had jobs. When I started the company, I didn't. I was working a regular job, and I wanted to make this film Magic so bad. I wanted to make this movie, and my job was in the way. So I was sitting on a forklift, and my boss walked past, and I told him, I'm about to quit. So he laughed. And then I drove the forklift, parked it, and I walked past his desk. He called me. He said, what are you doing? I said, I told you I'm about to quit. He's like, what you finna do? I said, I'm finna make movies. They laughed at me. So when I finished Magic, we did the theatrical premiere and all that, and then Maverick called and they released it. When I got the first poster, I sent it to my past boss. And I told you I was about to make movies, and he congratulated me and everything, but I had to balance, like you said, you took that leap of faith, and I was scared. I didn't know what was going to come behind that. My wife said, what are we going to do about insurance and all of this? And I was like, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. Just, we just got to let God handle it, And she stood behind me, and she stood with me, and we're here today with actually 12 films done, 6 released, and I have 6 more scheduled for release over the next 4 years.
Wow. So ahead in advance, and with your wife asking that question, because when you doing something like that, quitting your job and then going to follow your passion, it can be scary because you don't know what's going to be the end result. What are you going to do
Exactly.
now? But
Exactly.
you never know unless you try. And even
Exactly.
for me, starting this season, because when we set the interview up with Cal, shout outs to Cal Dosha, my girl,
Yes,
uh,
yes, yes.
I was kind of skeptical about starting off season 18 because this is my 18th season. I've been doing this since 2014, right
Mm-hmm.
after high school. And I'm like, what are people going to say? Because each season I always try to turn it up a notch. I always try to bring different fashions, different looks, different guests. I try to do different things each season.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say that this is the most happiest that I've ever been in my entire life. And I told Beautifully Diverse Fashion that yesterday. She messaged me after the interview and she says, girl, I'm loving what you're doing with this platform. Keep doing it. Things like that keep me motivated. So when
Mm-hmm.
people me wrong, when people say, oh, well, she can't do that or she can't do that, and I'm pretty sure you've got it too. He wants to shoot film. Like, huh, like your boss laughed. I'm
Yeah.
the same way, and I have that mentality too. When people doubt me, I always put pressure on it, and I
Yes.
always apply pressure. And one thing I do is I'm just like, watch me.
That's it.
And I think it's because I'm a Scorpio too. So Scorpios were always the ones that are very fiery, we're very adventurous. We go
Mm-hmm.
for whatever it is that sets our soul on fire. And that's something that I tell people all the time. If it's something that you want to do it. You never know unless you try.
You'll never know. You'll never know what's on the other side of the door. You know. Um, when I was nominated, it was a shock. Someone called me and said, brother, you've been nominated for Director of the Year. And I was like, wow, they watching me like that? And um, people would walk up to me in places and say, Mr. Valentine, I've been trying to work with you for over a year now. I said, I never knew that, but to be acknowledged and appreciated for what you do, that's beautiful to me. That's the reward to me. The money is a bonus, but the true reward is the acknowledgement and seeing the look on people's face who you pushed through the door. You know, uh, I just got a message today from a young lady who said this will be the first time I ever saw myself on the big screen. Thank you. That's the reward to me. That's the reward. And I'm a go-getter. I'm a Cancer. So if they tell me I can't do it, watch me do it. And we'll talk about it after I've done it.
Right. And Beautifully Diverse Fashion says, congratulations.
Thank you. Stella, thank you, Beautifully Diverse Fashion.
Now, looking back on your career, all of these years, because you've been in the industry for a long time. You worked with some of the biggest names ever. For you, is it ever a moment where you feel like, wow, I went from Chicago, from coming all the way from Chicago to moving here to jumpstart my career to now I'm a dad, I've got my business and everything is flourishing, full circle 360. Do you ever have moments where it's just like, I need to pinch myself because this can't be real? And even for
Yes.
me having this platform, I do it too, where it's just like, is this real? Did I just interview this person?
Yeah, most definitely. Um, Kevin Morrow is an actor here in Chicago, and I was doing a trailer for a production company, and he was one of the actors, and he was sitting in a room, and he was practicing. And I'm just this director, you know. And when I was like, I know this man from somewhere, but I'm thinking I knew him from the streets or locally. And then it dawned on me, wait a minute, he was in barbershop, you know. So that was a pinch myself moment. You mean I'm working with an actor now? Not that the people that I work with are not actors, but this is the first actor that I've directed that I've literally paid to see, you know. And I didn't think that at this point I would be working with these guys, but now when I'm home with the family or we're watching TV, I see these commercials, and some of the actors that I've directed are in these commercials. It's a pinch yourself moment. You literally, did I just direct this man in a movie? And it's like, it's overwhelming. Like, wow. So yeah, there's times, and then there's times where I say, usually my birthday is this big all-out extravaganza. Well, last year I said I just want a regular birthday. I just want to go with my kids and grandkids and eat some ice cream. And that was bigger than any big palooza that we normally throw. A lot of my films are released on my birthday. So those are big events. And last year I didn't release a film. I just did the old regular, normal human being. Happy birthday. Let's go eat some ice cream and cake.
Yeah. And you can take it all in now. That's the greatest gift to yourself because you've mastered your craft. You've worked on your craft, and now you're able to release your craft to people. This is your gift to the world, and this is your gift to yourself because you've worked so hard into it. And when you're finished with your product, it's like, okay, I don't put my blood, sweat, and tears into it. My craft, I worked hard on this. I directed it, I produced it, I've written it, and it came out perfectly just the way I wanted it. That's the greatest gift anywhere. Working hard
Yes.
and seeing the end result. And it's an expression. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard it. From pressure, or what is it? Coal comes a diamond.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a masterpiece in the end result. And I feel even happy when I've completed something like that too. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people can test to that.
Yes. Yes. Um, when I'm making a film, I try to imagine how the audience is going to react to a certain part. And then when we're in the theater watching the film and the audience does that reaction, that's the reward. That's the, like, yes, a scene. It's hard for me to be funny on purpose. Now I can be funny just accidentally, but when I'm making a comedy film and I'm trying to be funny, that's real hard. So when I do a certain thing on the film and I say, well, the audience should just be tickled right here, and then that scene comes about and the audience is tickled, that's the reward. I mean, that's the greatness of it all right there.
Yes. All right, fashion dolls. We are going to have some fun, and then we're going to get into today's Women's History Month fact. Today's woman we're spotlighting for Women's History Month. It's Women's History Month, celebrating us all the way up until April. So before we get to the woman that we're spotlighting for Women's History Month, we're going to have some fun here with Billy. All right. And I
Okay.
do this with all of my guests. All right.
All
You
right.
have to tell me, this is what we call the rapid fire. And Billy has to tell me 5 things he can't live without. It can be your family, your favorite drink, your favorite football team, whatever you like to watch. I know for me, I just started binge watching. What do I like to watch on television right now? I love to watch a lot of old sitcoms, like 227. I've been binge watching that. I love Good Times, all of them from back in the day. So
Okay.
those are things that I love. But for you, what are 5 things that you can't live without in the rapid fire?
Okay. Pizza is one. I cannot live without pizza. A good pizza, you got me. Home cooked food. I
Mm,
love restaurants, but a home cooked meal, I
nothing
can't
like
go without it. Um, uh, I love the theater. You know, even though I'm a filmmaker, I stay in the theater. If they told me there would be no more theaters, I don't think I could live here no more. You know,
all of us.
right. Um, my best friend, I can't live without my best friend, which is my wife. You know,
Mm.
I can't live without her and my grandchildren. That's number 5. My grandchildren just they make me whole. You know.
And those are the greatest things you can't live without. You incorporated family. You're a family person, and I'm a family person too. And those are things that I can't live without. I can't live without my mom. You guys call me queen, and I've been paying attention to that. You guys in the audience that watch the platform, you be like, "Hey, queen, I'm gonna say this. I appreciate it, but my mom is the real queen. My mom is the woman who birthed me to be the woman that I am today. So I wouldn't be the queen if it wasn't for the original queen, my mother.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I give that woman, I go to the end of the world and back for that woman. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel the same way about their mom and their family. So family is dear to my heart. And my nephew, my beautiful nephew, who's in the world, who's already eyes wide open, sitting up, and he's
Mm-hmm.
already discovering things. So those are things that are precious to me too. So family is near to my heart. So all right. Second thing we're gonna get into fashion dolls, and I'm so nervous. My heart is beating so fast. And I do this with my guests as well too. It is called Turn the Tables. And Billy's gonna ask me some questions. I don't know what he's going to ask me. It can be anything relating to fashion, family, beauty, whatever he wants to know or is curious to know for the new viewers out there. You get to find a little bit out about me through his questioning, all right? So I'm gonna pass it on down to Billy. Take it away.
Okay. Okay. All right, Miss Stevie. So, what made you get into the fashion world?
Individuality, because I was picked on a lot throughout my school years. I was picked on a lot. I was always seen as the oddball out, because of my style. When I dressed going to school, I would always do the suspenders. I would always do different things, suspenders,
Mm-hmm.
bow tie, all sorts of things. I wouldn't dress like the other kids. But people were just like, okay, it's a thing. And I would get a lot of compliments and stuff on it. But they're just like, why is she dressed this way? Coming to school is just school. And I'm just like, first impressions last a lifetime. And that's something that I've learned from my father and my mom as well. And whenever you're meeting somebody, you never know who it could be. Going to school for me wasn't just about learning, it was also about image as well too, because I
Okay.
took beauty school throughout my high school years as well too. So my class is this Sunday, which we'll talk about at the end of the show. But I've learned a lot through fashion through my assistant principal. Like it was one day I was sitting in the cafeteria. I'll never forget this. She came and she walked up because she's watching the other kids what they're doing, and it's like a wide space in the cafeteria. And you know how the principals have to monitor everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So she came and she saw me doodling or I was writing something and she tapped me on the shoulder. She said, I see you like fashion. I'm going to bring you some Vogue magazines and Harper's Bazaar tomorrow. Billy, when I tell you, she went and she gave me the keys to go to her car. And it was a big magazine, Vogue magazine, this thick. And I have
Mhm.
never seen that many fashion designers in my entire life. I mean, the only thing that I knew at the time was South Pole. And y'all remember South Pole and FUBU and it's so many, Lot 29, all of these fashion brands. But she introduced me to another world of fashion that was
Uh-huh.
just beyond extreme. And I was just enamored flipping through the pages. She bought me, it was a stack of fashion magazines. And I'm just like, what am I going to do? Oh my God. And I was so grateful for it. And I still have those magazines till this day because a lot of fashions come back in history. She was the person who introduced me to fashion. So my assistant principal, Dr. G, shout outs to her, was the person. She taught me how to pronounce the designer names. She said, baby, if you get into the fashion world, you got to know how to design and pronounce the designers' names right. So it's Armani Privé. She knows about it. She knows about, the showrooms and all of these things. I was just enamored. Every morning I would stop by her office and we had a special bond because we talked fashion. And then I started on my own ordering the fashion catalogs from Jacob and Co. If you know about their jewelry and Tiffany's and Versace. She said, "How do you get these?" The magazine because at the time Vogue would have the numbers that you can call to the designer stores and they would send you the catalogs and I still
Mhm.
have them all. But yeah.
So, in your individuality,
hmm
how do you look at the rest of the world?
I believe that people should be free to express themselves and just be as wild and as colorful and as bold as possible.
Okay.
And I believe that fashion brings personality to life. And
Okay.
what I mean by that is when you dress or you put on color, you add color because I remember at one point all I would wear was black and white and gray. But now I'm just
Mhm.
like there were certain colors that I hated wearing, and it was like red. My mom bought me some a red pair of jeans, and I hated those things. But I see what she was doing. She was prepping me for what's to come in the future with fashion. Now I can't stop wearing red or green or blue or any of those other colors. So I believe that fashion, when you dress and you bring light to personality, you own it. You don't wear the clothes don't wear you, you wear the outfit. And that's how I feel about
Okay. 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 So, at the point you're where you are now, are you satisfied?
it. Absolutely. I can be as wild, as crazy, as sexy, and as cool as I want to be. And sometimes some of the outfit choices that I've worn this previous season is like even my mom, because I'm coming from a Christian household, if you know, you know. Um, some of the outfits that I've worn in the past, some of the dresses would have cutouts on the side. Uh-oh, I think it kicked Billy out. Let me add him back. Hopefully it'll add Billy back. Hmm.
Here we are. Here we are.
Yes, saying
So,
that some of the outfit choices that I was wearing on the show this season, my
mhm.
mom would be like, girl, that dress is too short, or the back would be out, or the legs. It's certain things. But now I must say that I'm fully confident with style. I'm not afraid to push the envelope and change up my look. It's all about having fun. And that's what fashion is.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's it for me.
All right, fashion dolls, and that is Turn the Tables. So today's woman we're celebrating for Women's History Month is none other than Hazel Scott. Hazel Scott is a jazz pianist, and she not only that, but she was the first African American woman to host her own television show. And at the time, it was like what, the 1920s? She was born in 1920 in Spain, in the port of
Right.
Spain. So groundbreaking, breaking barriers for women of color today. So you wouldn't have, if it wasn't for her, you wouldn't have a Tamron or a Jennifer or a Sherry or any of these other talk show platforms that you see today. Mine's included also too. It's groundbreaking. Now, he's also done a lot
Salute.
with jazz music as well in the industry. So salute to Hazel Scott for International
Most
Women's
definitely.
History.
Salute
So
to Hazel.
before we close, Billy, are there any words of encouragement that you would like to give to up and coming film directors and producers?
Yes. Consistency is key. Sometimes it's an uphill battle with skates on. Keep going. Keep going. If you believe in you, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Also, stay encouraged.
Yes,
Stay encouraged. Sometimes you may get down. Sometimes the project gets rough. Stay encouraged. Nothing that's successful comes easy. There's no such thing as an overnight success. It just appears that way.
yeah,
You know, when what looks easy is really hard to do, but if you believe in yourself and you stay encouraged, it will happen.
absolutely. And to second that, today's final thought comes from Octavia Spencer. And she says, one thing I've learned is to be comfortable in your skin. And more
Yes.
importantly, be comfortable in your shoes. Authenticity is key. Individuality is key. And I'm glad that you asked me those questions, Billy, because it took me a while to build up my confidence. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people struggle with confidence in whatever it may be, a business move, making a move as far as moving into a new home. All of these things can be scary to us. But the key trick is to move out on faith. You never know unless you try. And be confident in it. Make sure this is what you want to do. So that's today's
Yes.
final thought. So where can everyone follow you and check out your amazing film and project?
Um, my projects are all over the place. Amazon Prime, Tubi, Fandango, Hulu, Sling. I'm on at least 40 networks. You can reach out to me on Facebook, Billy Ray Valentine, on Instagram, Billy Ray Valentine with 4 E's, Twitter, Billy Ray Valentine. I'm Billy Ray Valentine across the board, you know. And I'd like to give a special shout out to the Singles Film and Music staff and cast and crew. Those guys are amazing. They are amazing.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And make sure you guys go and follow Single Films and Music. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm already subscribed. Check out the project and check out what Billy is doing. It's amazing. Support Black filmmakers, support Black writers, directors, and producers, period. And that's all I have, Fashion Dolls. Also, joining me next week, we have John F. Thomas and Corey Post. So make sure you guys tune in. That lineup is going up today after this interview. Make sure you also vote for your favorite look of the week. It is 5 different looks. I had so much fun this week. Special thanks to my makeup artist, Melanie Nalamai Bridgers, for making sure that every look is perfect and beautiful. So make sure you guys head on over. Check it out in my stories if you haven't seen the post. Subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime. Hit that bell so you'll be notified. This interview will be uploaded to my channel and it will be saved here on IGTV so you can go back and check it out in case you missed it. And without further ado, Billy had such an amazing time with you. We got to do this.
Yes, we got to. We have to. I love when I'm in South Carolina, I'll look you up.
Definitely, and I'm ready for it. All right.
All right. All right.
Take
Thank
care,
you for having me.
guys. And I will see you guys next week. Take care, everyone.